So good to see you back here. Thanks for joining. Before we dive into today's interview, I actually want to remind you of a super helpful lesson from last week's interview with AI expert Enrico Schaefer, in case you missed it. Using OpenAI's Whisper technology, Enrico speaks aloud to ChatGPT just as he would a human assistant standing in his office. So something like this. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm trying to settle a case, but I want to take a strong position. Ask me to upload the most recent back and forth emails between the parties. Once I do that, I want you to ask me to give you bullets of the main points I want to make in my response. And then I want you to provide me with two options to work from. One mildly aggressive, the other very aggressive. Do you understand? Using this plain English verbal approach has materially increased Enrico's daily productivity, as well as made it a lot easier for others in his firm to begin leaning heavily on ChatGPT. Okay, turning to today's great session. My interview is with a New York injury lawyer moving up market to more serious cases with the help of twice weekly YouTube videos. Let's get started. Hi there, welcome back to the Grow with Kara show. Today we continue our interview series with successful attorney marketers. We're taking a close look at what's working, what's not working so well, the specific steps these attorneys took to get to where they are. And remember, these are simple steps that you too can follow to get on a similar path to growth. Okay, let's get right to it. Today, our special guest is attorney Arkady Frekhtman. Arkady is the owner and founder of F&A Injury Lawyers, a rapidly growing personal injury firm in New York. We're excited to have him here today. Welcome, Arkady. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm excited to dive in. So to begin, Arkady, tell us a little bit about your story and why you launched the firm in, I believe it was 2000?
Yeah, so basically, I was born in Europe, in Russia, and I came over when I was 5 years old, and I kind of went to public school here in Queens, New York. I grew up in Queens, New York City, and I kind of always had this feeling that I wanted to be a lawyer. I just kind of had a passion towards law. I was on the debate team. I loved like history, political science. And so I went to college in New York, in upstate New York, and then law school actually in Texas. And then I took the Texas bar, which I passed, and the New York bar. And I worked in Texas for a little bit, but I just kind of, I don't know, something drew me back to New York. I guess my family was here and a little bit more of a city kind of bustling environment. So I came back to New York and I started the firm. Yeah, right at the end of 99, beginning of 2000, I started the firm, and it was just me. And, my dad was helping me at the time. And it was just like I was renting a little office from an accountant, like a little room. And it was just me all by myself doing everything, like soup to nuts, like A to Z, everything all by myself. And then we kind of slowly grew. So then we hired a paralegal, and it's just kind of step by step. And that was from 2000 up until now. And now we're, I would say, like a small to mid-sized firm. We have about 20 people, about 7 attorneys. And we're handling more like serious injury cases, doing a lot of trials and larger cases, like really trying to help serious injury victims and their families.
Yeah, that's great. So let's talk about the early days a little bit. How were you bringing in cases early on? How were you drumming up business when it was just you?
Yeah, so back then I was just getting some referrals. I was getting referrals from like friends, family. Sometimes I was doing a little bit of marketing. Like I speak Russian, so I put ads in the newspapers. They had these ethnic newspapers for like the Russian community, Ukrainian community, Russian Jewish community. So I put ads there, and I would get certain callers. I would get some cases from there. Yeah, I would get like car crash cases, trip and falls, some medical malpractice, all sorts of cases. Then with the advent of like the internet started becoming more popular. So I stopped doing all that. Like I was still around when people were doing like yellow pages and all that stuff. Then I saw like that completely ended. And then I started doing some pay-per-click, SEO, the Google, my business, the Google local, the maps. And I started getting cases from that. So I kind of lived the transition from one to the other.
Yeah. So at what percentage pace is the firm currently growing?
So I would say right now we're in a good spot. We're growing probably at about like 20 or 30% every year. One of the things we had before was we probably had more cases, but we did a lot of small cases, and now we kind of shifted where I kind of had to align with like my vision and my mission, which is more like to do like real serious injury cases and help people. So we're kind of being more selective, but I think that's actually helping the growth and
Right.
fueling the growth to kind of niche down and do more selective cases. So we're doing some trucking, some construction, so still doing some like trip and fall, ceiling collapses. But what we'll do is we'll do the more serious injuries and we'll prepare them, and then if they can't be settled for a large number that the client is happy with, then we'll take them to trial. And then all the smaller ones, maybe we would refer out to other firms.
Okay. So that's really kind of how you made that shift then to being more selective with the more serious injury cases, essentially referring out the smaller cases.
Yeah, I think in referring out to smaller cases, we still have a pre-litigation department. So if we get some of the smaller cases, we'll still build them up and send out settlement packages. And we have like a really experienced paralegal as well as a pre-litigation attorney. So they'll still try to settle them. But if they can't be settled, if they need to be litigated and they're small, we'd rather refer them out, because we found that taking those smaller cases to court, you get bogged down in like discovery. In New York, we have like all these extra steps like bills of particulars, and then we have a lot of serious injury threshold motions because we have to prove a serious injury on a car accident case. So then they'll make a threshold motion, and then you have to get like affidavits from every chiropractor, every doctor, and it doesn't make sense to fight that on the smaller cases because it's, you'll have paperwork up to the ceiling, and then even if you win, the recovery will be like maybe 6,000 or 7,000 settlements. So it just doesn't make sense to because we wanted to really focus on the more serious cases, I would say the mid 6-figure to 7-figure cases, and I kind of wanted to get back into the courtroom because I felt like I did some trials when I first started back in 2000, and then I kind of stopped doing trials, and I was more of like the office manager
Hmm.
and office like marketer, manager. And now I want to get back into doing something like right before the pandemic hit. I think I did like 9 jury trials that year in 2019 and 2020. And now that courts are opening up again, I did a jury trial this year in February. I have another one in July. So I'm just trying to do more trial work. I kind of enjoy that more. So
Yeah, that makes sense. How are you generating new cases now? How are you marketing the firm?
yeah, so right now I would say mostly it's the internet. We were doing the SEO, and I can't really do SEO. I mean, some firms maybe can do it for the generic terms like accident lawyer, injury lawyer. I think for me, because I'm kind of on the smaller end, it's a little too expensive. So I'll do it, but more for like a niche term, like for example, ceiling collapse lawyer in the Bronx, or tractor trailer accident lawyer in Brooklyn, something like more a long tail niche keyword. So I'll do like pay per click. I'll do SEO for that. Also, I think the Google My Business, the maps are really good, because if you have good reviews, if clients are happy, give you a pretty good review, and you have presence there. Like if you build out the listing with some photographs, things like that. I think it's very powerful, and it's free in the sense that you get a lot of calls, you get a lot of messages, and so we get a lot of cases from there. And then the other thing is I started doing some social media. I've kind of been meaning to build out other social medias like, I don't know, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok even, but the one that I've kind of been focusing on is YouTube. So I've been doing videos on YouTube. And, in the beginning, I wasn't getting cases from it. I was just kind of slowly doing it. But now I think I've gotten to the point where I am getting some cases from it. And I'm even trying to build out like a network. So basically, if it's a New York case and I feel like I could help, I'll take it myself. And if it's a case in another state, I'll do like kind of do a promise of due diligence. So I'll still do a consult call with the client,
Hmm.
and I'll try to refer them to an attorney who I feel like is a really good
Nice.
trial attorney that is going to prepare the case the right way and take the case to trial and get them the maximum compensation possible. And it's been working. Like, for example, we had a case in the state of Georgia. There was a trucking case, and we referred it to a firm, and I think the client got almost a $2 million settlement. So it worked out. So like we're starting to get calls like all over the country, because the YouTube really is something that I think is an interesting area. Not that many attorneys. I mean, some attorneys are doing it, but it's a good area for attorneys, I think.
I think you're right. I think there are fewer attorneys who are really taking advantage of the opportunities on YouTube. I mean, a lot of attorneys are seeing, great growth on Instagram, on TikTok, even still on Facebook. But yeah, I'm interested in diving in a little bit more into kind of how YouTube has evolved for you, because now not only you're generating direct leads through YouTube, but it sounds like you're really building a strong referral network through that too. So let's talk about your approach. What are you posting? How often are you posting? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I post about twice a week. So usually I post on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I've kind of been like constantly evolving my approach. Like I kind of have a content calendar, but it's not like a formal content calendar in any type of software. It's just kind of like in my phone. I'll take some notes, and I'm always trying to come up with ideas just from like reading the newspaper, or if I'm watching like a CLE, or even like one of my cases. So I'll do like all types of stories. I'll do stories about cases we've settled or cases we've won, or common questions that clients have, like how long is my case gonna take, or how much am I going to get in this scenario, and then of course I'll do like topics specific, like about either trip and falls or ceiling collapses or construction accidents or truck accidents or other topics. And then the other thing I started doing just recently, I mean a few months ago, is I started reading some of the comments, because some of the comments people leave are really insightful and they're interesting, and I figured like I got to give the viewers what they want, so these are their comments. So I started reading their comments and answering the comments in a video. So that was, I called it Last Week Tonight, kind of like all the comments for the week, and I would read them and I would answer them. And then I noticed like that would generate even more comments, and people were really engaged. And some of those videos would be longer. They would be even like half an hour or more. But people seem to be contacting me. And I kind of made a second line number, which is like a Wi-Fi number. And I would say, hey, text me to this number, and then they text it, and then I get it right on my cell phone. So then I could chat with them, or set up a consultation, either for me or my intake team. So I think it's a pretty good system. And basically, yeah. So then that turned into because we got good engagement on those comment videos. What I started doing after that is I started going live. So I've only done a few of those, but I'd go live. And then when I'm live, people could just type in right away their questions, and it's more engaging. And then it seems to be like, yeah, after you do one of the videos, either a comment video or a live video, you start getting a lot of the texts from people with new case matters. So yeah, it's a pretty good I think system. And I'm still like working on YouTube, because I know it's a whole algorithm and they have all these rules. So I'm still working on trying to improve it. I think the next thing I want to do is maybe make some videos that are more like YouTube style videos, kind of like with all the parts that you need, like the hook and the story, and maybe some editing with B-roll, and make it a little bit more engaging. Because most of the time, to be honest, I'll just kind of do it like off the cuff. Just kind of do it live, or just do it off the cuff without. But I think if I had outlined the video and spent some time on it, it would be even more impactful. So I'll try that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're obviously gaining traction by doing what you're doing now too, which is really impressive. It seems like you're just kind of handling the videos yourself. Are you just hitting record on your computer and kind of going to town? Or is there any additional help from internal team members, or what kind of equipment are you using?
Yeah, no, I'm basically just doing it myself. I'm just using my iPhone to record, and it's pretty good. You could do it even 4K or HD. And then sometimes I will invite this videographer, maybe like once a month. He'll stop by and he'll record a few videos for me in the office, and then we'll post those. But it's funny, it's like, I think looking at the statistics, the analytics, I think actually the live videos where I'm just like wearing a t-shirt with my iPhone do better than the professional videos with all the background. So I don't know, I guess people want that raw vulnerability.
Yeah,
That's what people
yeah.
like.
That authenticity, right? Really showing
Yeah,
what it would be like working with you. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
Are you mostly focused on those longer form videos, or are you also posting the shorter, the YouTube shorts and the punchier videos?
Yeah, we are starting to do some YouTube shorts. So I'll do some shorts that are either under a minute or maybe 30 seconds to a minute. I'll record some shorts. I also started doing, I think they have something called remixing. So for example, if you did a long video, like 20 minutes, but there's like one really good point where somebody asked an interesting question and you gave a great answer, or you thought of something like a fun analogy or something, I'll just take that little clip and then I'll post that as a short. And
Nice.
that really works well too. And it's easy to do because you can do it right on your phone. It just takes a few seconds. So.
Really, really smart way to kind of repurpose that content that seems to be resonating. How long did it take you, Arkady, to get some traction on YouTube? Were you seeing an audience pretty much right away, or how long did it take?
It took a few years. I mean, like in the beginning, I kind of started in a weird way. I think I started on YouTube a long time ago, but I wasn't really doing anything. I just kind of posted a few videos a year, and I would just do those, typical lawyer videos. Have you been injured? And like the 30-second clips. And so I wasn't getting too much traction from that. And then maybe about like 2, 3 years ago, I started doing more of these videos where I'm just like taking a walk and recording myself and answering people's questions or doing topics. And I would say it's been growing, pretty much. I wouldn't say it's like an explosive growth or really it didn't like, take off like that. It's been kind of slow, but it's been going pretty well. I think we got to the point where we've had 2 million views like all together for the channel, and we
Right.
have about 4,000 subscribers and growing. So so I think it's a good, but I'm not really doing it, to get a lot of views. I'm kind of more doing it for the clients, and, and helping people. And I think the really good thing about it is that what I've noticed is that the clients that do contact you on YouTube seem to be like serious injury clients, meaning it's something serious, like either a traumatic brain injury or some kind of fracture with surgery or even a spine surgery. I haven't seen too many like, those little fender bender soft tissue cases or that are very small. I haven't seen too many of those on YouTube, which is a good thing,
Yeah, these prospects are on YouTube trying to educate themselves about the situation that they're going through, and you're the one providing value, helping them along. I can see how that would be very compelling. Tell us about the lead flow through YouTube. I mean, what kind of volume are you seeing come through from these videos?
Yeah, so I would say usually in terms of leads, I mean, it is a pretty good volume. I would say maybe in a month. I mean, if we don't just count New York, but count the entire country, in a month it could be even like 10 to 20 leads. And not all of them turn out to be cases, but some of them do. Some of them turn out to be cases that we could either refer to someone in our network or handle ourselves. So yeah, I would say it's a pretty good. I mean, it varies like month to month, but sometimes I'll get like for example, I just have that number that goes to my cell phone. Sometimes I'll get a few texts even in a day, and it's hard for me to even to schedule because I have to do all my other work. It's hard for me to even schedule the times. I want to call everybody back myself, but
Wow.
sometimes I'll ask some of my intake staff to help out or to vet the case before I call them myself. Um, so yeah, it's a pretty good flow, I would say.
Are you investing in YouTube advertising, or is this all organic?
So I think we did do some advertising. Like I didn't do it myself. I had somebody that helps me a little bit with marketing, kind of like a marketing assistant. And I think we did do a little bit of YouTube advertising just to get our name out there.
Mhm.
So I think that was working as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of it has been, I think, organic
Mhm.
from the from the videos or the because most of the time the people are watching the videos and that's the reason that they contacted me. Like for example, today I spoke with somebody who had a ceiling collapse in the Bronx and then there was a serious surgery, and she said, "Oh, I feel like I know you because I
Mhm.
go to sleep, I watch your videos, I'm always watching your videos because I want to learn about this, I want to learn about the process." And so she was like so happy to get a consultation. And some people even say like, "Oh, I feel like I'm speaking to a celebrity," but I feel like I don't feel like I'm like that at all. I feel like I'm just I'm just another lawyer. But
Yeah.
it's good. Like the fact that I guess video and the power of video really gets you that puts you as a lawyer, puts you like one step above, because otherwise you're just another lawyer, right? Like either on the internet, and then how do they know you versus another lawyer, but that personal marketing I think really helps with
I
YouTube.
agree. I mean, it's the most efficient, effective way of distinguishing yourself, right? I mean, you're building that trust, that rapport with those prospects, perhaps before they ever even reach out to you. So that's powerful. Yeah. Arkady, about what percent of your revenue are you spending on marketing and advertising?
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly the percentage of revenue, but I would say we're probably spending, in terms of like numbers. I don't think we're spending that much in terms of like I think one of the biggest expenses is probably the pay per click and maybe the YouTube advertising actually I don't believe is that expensive, but I think altogether probably we're spending close to like maybe 10,000 a month on all the pay per click and the internet and the even SEO and all that, because maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, but in that ballpark, I would say. So
Yeah.
not too much, because I know some firms are spending way more. Some firms are spending a bit on
Yeah,
that.
that's reasonable. That's reasonable, especially, the growth that you're seeing year over year. That's impressive. Are you, so if you had to say one channel that's performing best, is it PPC? Can you kind of narrow it down to one single marketing channel that you're seeing the highest return on, or is it more of a holistic approach that's working?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a holistic approach. I think like from what I'm seeing, pay per click, yeah, we do get some good cases, although for the most part, those cases tend to be on the smaller side. And then the same thing with Google My Business. You can get a lot of volume, but they tend to be on the smaller size. Although sometimes from the maps, because we have a few offices, we have Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens, so we do get a few serious cases from the Google My Business. And then the YouTube seems to be leading to not that much volume, but good quality serious cases in the New York area. And then also, I would say SEO leads to good cases, especially for the various like keywords. Although it's hard, it's more of a longer play because it's hard to get yourself ranked with so much competition.
Mhm.
But it does lead to if you could rank for like a very niche area. Like it's funny, like I remember I think this was like a few years ago. For some reason, we wrote an article, and for some reason, we were ranking for like ceiling collapse lawyer. And then we got like 8 ceiling collapse cases in one weekend. I didn't even know there were that many ceiling collapses, but there was like one in Queens, one in the
Wow.
Bronx, one in Brooklyn, and one in Manhattan. I was like, oh, wow. And it was all in one weekend. And they all called and they all had ceiling collapses with injuries.
Wow.
So it just shows you that you could even do volume with a niche specific keyword.
Those longer tail keywords. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
You mentioned Google My Business. How are you generating those new client reviews? You have really, really impressive past client reviews. How are you getting those?
Yeah, so we have a system where we just ask clients to write us a review, usually at different stages. So it doesn't necessarily have to be at the time that we're giving them the check. I mean, of course, that's like the best time, but also sometimes clients are happy even in the beginning if you do something nice for them, or if you get them some kind of like a payment on their car to get their car fixed or something in the beginning. And then you can just ask them, hey, do you mind writing us a review? So we'll send them a link, and it could be to their cell phone through a text, or it could be an email, whatever they prefer. And then just a little bit of a follow up, and then they'll click and they'll write us a review. Another thing I've been doing, even myself sometimes, and I've been trying to get my whole team to do it, is when somebody calls you about something that you don't do, like say they call me about, I don't know, real estate or divorce, but instead of just saying, oh, we don't do that and hanging up, maybe I'll speak to them for a few seconds and give them somebody else that does do that. And then if they're happy with the consultation, I could say, oh, do you mind leaving us a nice review because we helped you? And then oftentimes they do that. Like I remember one guy, I was in the summertime, I was somewhere, and he actually had a case against him. Somebody was going to sue him because uh, he hit a car, and he was worried because he wasn't sure if he had the right insurance. I just spent a few minutes explaining his rights to him, and then I said, do you mind leaving us a review? And he was so happy. He even said, not only will I leave you a review, but he had some kind of catering business. He's like, next time if you need any catering, I'll give you a discount.
Wow,
I'll
yeah.
cater a party for you. He was so happy that I took the time, because he had called other people and no one else wanted to speak with him. So,
Wow. That's great. That's great. I mean, yeah, the foundation of those positive reviews obviously is great customer service and customer relations. So yeah, that's wonderful. That's great. You mentioned kind of maybe expanding into Instagram. I don't know, maybe TikTok. I mean, you're obviously on Instagram. You have a decent following. What are your plans there? Do you plan on investing more time and effort into those platforms?
Yeah, definitely. I want to start doing, I probably need to do that. Like I mentioned before, I don't really have an actual content calendar. I just kind of have my notes. I probably have to do that. That's one of my projects. I have to probably start like a formal content calendar and then kind of build out some shorter form videos for Instagram and for TikTok and start posting regularly. And then hopefully that could complement the YouTube because I know a lot of people are on like a lot of younger generation is on TikTok and Instagram. So maybe if we have some nice videos, some maybe a little bit more funny or entertaining and some just interesting and educational, probably the shorter form, like a minute or less for those platforms. And then, so I'm gonna work on that. I have to probably spend some time and maybe add that to our repertoire. Then maybe we'll be able to grow a little bit bigger.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back on in a few months and see how see how that's going. Yeah, that sounds good. Arkady, what would you say are some of the biggest mistakes that you've actually made at your firm over the years?
So mistakes. In terms of marketing, I think like I would say definitely to be careful with some of the companies because sometimes you could hire a company and think that oh they're gonna solve all your problems, but a lot of the companies are just out. I mean, obviously, as lawyers, everyone is very savvy and smart business-wise, but some of the marketing companies are kind of out for themselves, and they're just kind of like selling you a bill of goods, almost like a snake oil salesman, Because I kind of found some companies would say, "Oh, if you pay us 10,000 a month, we'll take care of you. You'll be number one on Google. You're going to get so many clients." And then you start paying them, and then you're 3, 4 months in, and you call them up and you say, well, what's going on? I don't even see any new articles. I don't see any SEO movement. And then they'll just kind of pass your account to some, some intern and then you don't get any results. And so I kind of stopped doing that. And now I prefer to just work with maybe specific individuals that I kind of trust, that I know, that I've vetted from other attorneys. Not to say that there aren't, good reputable companies out there, but that's one of the places I think I made some mistakes. I kept trying new
Yeah.
companies, and it wasn't really working out. And I didn't want to keep waiting because I could kind of tell myself just by looking at the site that they weren't doing what they had promised. So that's one of the mistakes. I know otherwise, I would say another mistake probably is like I mentioned earlier, quickly, like just doing those little 30-second boilerplate commercials. I mean, those could be good for like TV or some other areas, but I think like in this day and age, it's better to just kind of be authentic and vulnerable and be like raw and real, and that'll get a lot more results.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I agree. Are you using AI in the firm, either for daily work or for marketing?
I started doing a little bit about it. Like I have the chat GPT and I went in there and I put in some keywords, like for example, can you tell me what somebody would want to watch? Like for example, a video, like to get ideas for video topics. What would somebody want to watch about truck accidents? And it'll give you some ideas. Or what would somebody, what are some topics that people are interested in for like personal injury? And it'll give me some interesting ideas. So I did use it for that, just like content generation and ideas. I haven't really used it for anything else, although I hear there's some websites maybe that use ChatGPT and they help lawyers. I haven't tried it myself, but I heard one is called like Case Text, and some other lawyers were saying good things about it. So I want to try it, but you got to be careful. I heard about that one case
Oh
where
my
the
gosh.
guy
Yeah.
put a false case or something, and then he got in trouble. So you have to be careful. But
Right.
it is very interesting. Yeah, it's definitely a new frontier.
Yeah. Interestingly, I just heard some good advice, a great prompt for ChatGPT for kind of potential video topics. What is something most people don't know about blank. What is something most people don't know about, whatever area you're interested in expanding on. I think that's a powerful prompt that would create, a pretty popular video, but just thought I'd share that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one.
So before we wrap up, Arkady, I always like to ask, if a lawyer watching only has time to adopt one, maybe two of your tips, what would you recommend?
Okay, so yeah, if they only have like one or two tips, I would recommend definitely do video. Maybe try either whatever platform you feel more comfortable with. It could be YouTube, it could be Instagram, TikTok, maybe even Facebook, and just try to be yourself. Try to be authentic and real, and try to think about what the audience member, the viewer, really cares about. So almost like reverse roles with the viewer, and think like if I was somebody like a customer wanting to hire a lawyer, what would I really care about? Like go to the heart of it and try to answer that. Because even from my own experience, I feel like sometimes I'll make like a great video and it won't get that many views. I'm like, why is it not getting that many views? And then some other video will get like way more, like triple the views. And then I kind of realize it's because I didn't really target what the client, what the viewer cares about. So you really have to focus on that. Like one of the videos that people really want to see is like, what is my case worth? I guess for personal injury, they want to know how much they're going to get. So I try to do more videos about that, even though that's the kind of the question is kind of hard to answer because they're always all different. But yeah, definitely you want to get into the mindset and the viewpoint of your ideal customer.
Right. Yeah. Start shooting those videos, be yourself. And I do love your approach of kind of monitoring those comments, expanding on those questions that you're getting. It's a really smart way of kind of, like you say, reverse engineering it so that your audience is telling you what is important to them, and you can kind of lean into that. I think that I really like that approach. That makes a lot of sense. Definitely.
Yeah, that's fun too. So sometimes they ask really good comments. Yeah, sometimes they're very insightful questions.
That's really smart. Really smart. Okay, Arkady, thank you so much for sharing your experience today. You were super generous. I really, really appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. Everyone, be sure to join us for the next episode of the Grow with Kara show happening very soon. Take care. Bye. Lots of good stuff from Arkady today, right? Here are the primary takeaways I see. Number one, moving up market is a proven growth route. Arkady is in effect increasing his service pricing by pursuing cases with more serious injuries. The same benefit can be obtained in other specialties by raising your billing rates, which is a tried and true method for attracting higher quality clients, improving your cash flow and profitability, and having a more satisfying practice. Try to lift your prices at least every other year. Your additional experience and increased efficiency certainly warrant it. Number two, engaging with viewers is critical. Lawyers sometimes forget that social media is certainly a two-way marketing channel. The more you respond to comments and DMs, the better your chosen platforms will perform. Responding with video, as Arkady does, is an excellent way to generate additional comments. Number three, having a video production target really helps. Most of the dozens of successful social marketers who I've interviewed on this show have a goal number of videos. Arkady's YouTube goal is a very achievable 2 videos a week. My recent guest, Zed Al-Sayed's target was posting 10 videos a month on Instagram and TikTok. But pursuing a target will inspire topics, lift, shoot frequency, drive efficiencies, and really improve your results. Number 4, YouTube can deliver serious clients. Unlike Instagram and TikTok, most viewers on YouTube have actually searched for their videos. They've, entered keywords and scrolled through the results. That means viewers of your niche videos have a strong interest in that topic. Many viewers of Arkady's ceiling collapse videos that he mentioned watched them because they had suffered similar circumstances. They weren't just watching for entertainment. And number 5, skip the formal productions. Your videos should, of course, be well lit, have good audio, but every other aspect of them can be approached casually, including your dress, your location. Social viewers, they want to see the real you, not a shiny sort of rehearsed version. The more spontaneous your videos appear to be, kind of the better that they will perform. This is a principle that has been repeated by nearly every social marketer that I've interviewed, and yet many of the lawyers who we shoot videos for still worry needlessly about minor aspects of their appearance. Okay, I hope you found my interview with Arkady helpful. Next week's interview is with a Texas criminal and injury lawyer growing 30% a year with referrals and Instagram leads, even though she only has 4,000 Instagram followers. She provides some great lessons. I hope you join me. See you next week. Keep marketing. Bye-bye.